The Orion Club stood like a monument to excess, an elite fortress where fortunes were made, secrets were traded, and the less fortunate were discarded like yesterday's news. The air was thick with the scent of luxury, aged whiskey, imported cigars, and the distinct cologne of power. And beneath that opulence, the whispers of broken dreams lingered in the dim corners, unheard by those who sipped their champagne from crystal flutes. Jake Turner knew those whispers well. He'd spent 3 years tending bar here, pouring liquid gold into crystal tumblers, serving the elite with a practiced hand and a guarded heart. He wasn't just good at his job, he was one of the best. Fast hands, sharp mind, no nonsense. He could read people in a glance, anticipate their orders before they spoke, and handle even the most unruly patrons with effortless charm. But none of that mattered when you were at the mercy of the man who owned it all. Mark Sullivan, the billionaire puppet master of the Orion Club, was a man who thrived on control. He didn't just own businesses, he owned people, bending them to his will like a master conductor leading a twisted symphony. His presence commanded the room, his reputation ensuring that no one dared challenge him. And tonight he was about to make an example of Jake. The moment Sullivan stepped up to the bar, Jake knew trouble was brewing. Dressed in a custom-tailored suit that probably cost more than Jake's yearly salary, Sullivan barely looked up from his phone as he muttered, "One whiskey. Neat." Jake reached for the top-shelf bottle, pouring with the precision of a man who had done this 1,000 times before. The amber liquid swirled in the glass like molten gold as he slid it across the bar. It was a drink crafted to perfection, the kind of pour that made connoisseurs nod in quiet appreciation. Sullivan took a sip. Then his face contorted as if he had just swallowed poison. "Are you trying to piss me off?" he growled, slamming the glass onto the polished wood. Jake kept his expression neutral. "No, sir. Would you like another?" Sullivan leaned in, voice dripping with venom. "I'd like you to pack your things. You're fired." The words hit like a sucker punch. A slow burn of anger flickered in Jake's chest, but he didn't move. He had seen men like Sullivan before, men who wielded power like a weapon, expecting the world to bow at their feet. He could feel the weight of the room pressing in on him, the gazes of the patrons flickering between curiosity and indifference. Before he could respond, another voice sliced through the tension. Smooth, calm, and effortlessly commanding. That's a hell of a way to treat a guy. The room seemed to shift as Keanu Reeves stepped forward, hands casually tucked in his pockets, eyes sharp beneath the dim club lighting. There was something about him, an aura of quiet confidence, the kind that made people take notice. Sullivan's lip curled. "This isn't your business, Reeves." "Maybe not," Keanu said, his tone even but firm. "But fairness is everyone's business." The club had fallen silent. Conversations had died, glasses hung in midair. Everyone was watching, waiting to see what would happen next. Sullivan chuckled, a cruel, humorless sound. "You want to hire him? Be my guest." Keanu didn't miss a beat. Done. For the first time, Sullivan looked rattled. This wasn't just a firing anymore, it was a spectacle. And with Keanu Reeves in the picture, it was about to turn into a PR nightmare. He could already hear the headlines forming in the minds of those around them. By morning, Jake Turner had a new job, and Sullivan had a flood of headlines painting him as the villain of the night. The Orion Club continued as it always had, but the legend of the bartender who got fired and hired in the same breath spread like wildfire. People talked about it in hushed whispers, an almost mythic tale of how, for once, the underdog had won. Justice wasn't always served warm, but tonight it was neat, like a perfect glass of whiskey.